Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tilted Lawyer podcast. I am joined by Bruce Morgan. There's been a lot of big developments, and this is a follow-up from yesterday's invitation to David Gingras. Look, I was going to leave it alone. I try to be as polite and professional as I could with that guy. I really did. I think I was overboard in how professional and kind I was to him and his perspective. And mostly, honestly, I could give a shit about him. To Laura, to help her get out of this circular reasoning hell that she finds herself in. I tried to suspend my disbelief in all the things I know. I just wanted to hear her side. It's not like he was going to change my opinion or anything. I just wanted to know some things. And, his response to that was less than demure.
I've had a stressful day, very demure, very mindful.
As the kids are saying now, what the fuck does that even mean? Why do people say that? Like, where did that come from? Demure.
Oh gosh, it's got to be a TikTok meme, right?
Yeah, well, it was less than professional. And I'll tell you what he said. He said that, well, you guys, if you haven't caught my email to him, I feel like I was like over the top nice with him. Just look, respectful. You're in a safe space. Let's have a beer. Let's talk it out. We could hug it out afterwards. Whatever your flavor, sir. And then he says, couple of things. First of all, Laura is out today on a horse show. And if you could create a meme of Laura Owens, wouldn't it be at a horse show?
Maybe.
With a couple of pregnancy tests in tow. Maybe a beverage of prenatals just for the effect. I thought that was odd, but then I thought it was odd that he got back to me. I didn't even get a chance to finish my invitation video until he emailed me again in the middle of my show. And this is what he said.
Came in right
he says, he says, okay, so I tried to call her. She ain't available. Decision is up to her. I'll let you know if she's interested. And then per point number one, this is Laura's decision, not mine, but I'll be honest. If it was my call, it would be a hard pass. And if you missed it, basically I was like, look, heard you want to do a live with a member of the JFC community. I don't know if you would consider myself a part of that community, but I wanted to invite you on my show, have an objective, intelligent, civil discussion regarding yours and Laura's side of the story. And as you know, a practicing attorney and blah, blah, blah. Now, that was in response to him posting a tweet stating that me and Laura are planning on going live with a member of the JFC community to tell her side of the story. And then he was calling out this fictitious JFC community, which is not a formal thing, is what he calls it, claiming that nobody that supports Clayton, in layman's terms, what he's saying is nobody that supports Clayton is interested in the truth. They just want to shit on Laura. That's basically what he's saying, right? And so to counter that, I was like, no, come on my show. I'll hear you out. Look, I've seen the evidence. I saw the trial. I don't know what you're going to say. I have questions. My questions really had little to do with the evidence because I'm not going to argue evidence with the guy that is in pending litigation. I know I'm not going to get anywhere with that. My questions for him, and I'll read them, what they were going to be, were based on his representation of Laura. Because number one, she can't really say anything about the case anyway because there's a pending criminal investigation. And any attorney that puts her in the public stratosphere to specifically talk about an incident in which she's being criminally investigated, isn't that malpractice? Shouldn't it be? She's literally being investigated for perjury and wants to put her on a live stream. So
it definitely seems ill-advised at the least.
Yeah, well, just to root that out and to kind of help him out a little bit is, look, I'm fully aware of an ongoing criminal investigation. I pledge not to talk about topics related to perjury or any other matter that could be sensitive or detrimental to that case, given her Fifth Amendment rights. So I wasn't going to go there because I wasn't, it wasn't going to be a fruitful discussion. Then I said it, I'm not going to interrupt you, won't instigate. I'll give you all the questions in advance, but I reserve the right to ask spontaneous follow-up questions. I would moderate the audience very heavily, no personal attacks against him and Laura. I wanted to have a Q&A session with if we're going to do this, let's do it right. And with somebody that you can't bully around and legalese to death. And like they're intimidated because you're a famous internet defamation lawyer. I don't give a shit about any of that, man. If you really want to talk, I have questions for you and I'll share with you what the questions were going to be. mutual respect for differing reviews. I just, right in advance, we're not going to agree on all of these things. So we'll just agree to disagree and leave it at that. Empathy and understanding. My overarching goal is foster, I just wanted people to be friends for an hour to talk about this stuff. Not that it was going to resolve anything. I was going to let him pick a date and time. Look, I did not expect him to say, oh yeah, I'll be, how about Tuesday at 6? That was never going to, I didn't expect that. What I expected from him is exactly what I got. I prefaced that I said, look, I've been critical of your legal strategies and Laura, but I also feel I've been objective and emotional, fair in my analysis. I just want the opportunity to speak in a civil setting, bring the two sides together for an intelligent conversation, because he said that debate brings light, or whatever he said, and is the key pathway to finding the truth. So I said, wonderful, let's do it. This was his response. He says, no, fuck that. I'm not doing it. Hard pass. He says, not because I'm scared from the discussion, which the hell he ain't. There's no chance in hell he's going to talk. Here's what I know, man. I have made some highly critical videos of Gingras and his legal strategies, positing that I think that Laura Owens might be in danger by what this guy is doing. He's made it so much worse for her by some of the decisions that he's made. I think it hurt his feelings. I really do. He says that, he says he's far from scared. I spoke to you on the phone and sent polite and professional answers to your questions, which you later claimed were unprofessional. Yeah, I believe that they were. And I'm going to read the questions that I posed to him, explaining that viewpoint, which is basically, I'm not going to get any real information from this guy. He's going to play spin doctor over here. And at the time, understand that I knew nothing. So I was getting information from Dave Neal, from the person that created the Reddit page for the JFC thing. I think the Wikipedia page as well. I was getting stuff from all angles. So what I was really looking for, knowing nothing about the case, was credible information. I was not looking for spin doctor answers.
Yeah.
I didn't have time for it. So I was learning all of these things in real time. I knew I wasn't going to get anything from him. I did get some answers, and it turns out they were all bullshit. I'll share with you what they were.
Yeah. And ideally, that's how people should approach it. They should just look at the court filings from both sides.
That's what I did. And one of the first things I said, look, I just need to know. There's like this whole JFC Reddit page or Wikipedia page that purports to have all of these pleadings, text messages, exhibits, evidence. I just need to know, is any of that bullshit? In other words, has any of it been doctored? Is any of it fake? Are there alternate versions of these theories? That's all I wanted to know. I wasn't asking about anything specific.
Like, is there a better document repository, or is this go to? Yeah.
Right, because I don't want to just, oh, here's some random thing on the internet that I found about the case. Let me just give that, treat it as if it's the originals. I wasn't going to do that. I just, look, is any of it bullshit? I don't read any of that crap. It's like, well, that's irresponsible because it's out there. And you should be aware of it if you're not already, being that you're an internet defamation lawyer.
Yeah, it's also not true, because I remember on Twitter there was a time or two where he would complain that one of his motions wasn't on the wiki page yet. Like maybe there was a link, but it wasn't filled in.
Did he really? Specifically
and the reason
complaining?
is, there's different document runners for this case that go in, because in Maricopa, you got to go to a courthouse and ask for a document. You can't just do it. It's not like LA where you can just get a PDF.
Well,
and
sometimes in LA, it's like that.
Yeah.
It's an imperfect system in LA.
Well, at least for Dave's case, I was able to get PDFs.
Yeah.
But in Arizona, people have to go and they have to scan it. So it takes time. So he's like, oh, I filed my motion last night and it's not on their webpage yet. And it's like, look, people have lives. People are doing the best they can, but we will put all the documents on the page.
So here's the thing, man.
So he does know about it. He does check it.
Oh, he does for sure. But this is his MO. This is what he does. 99% of the videos that I make have nothing to do with the Laura Owens case.
Right.
I really got sick of talking about it after the trial, honestly. I'll do it like here and there when there's like she's claiming to be autistic, which would have been one of my questions. So has she actually been diagnosed? What was the diagnosis process? Who diagnosed her? Which he wasn't going to give me any of those answers. But has she been formally diagnosed? Because there's a whole process. I couldn't get my daughter diagnosed for months. And it was critical because it was required to get her treatments that she needed to treat her symptoms and so forth. So I suspect it's bullshit, but to the extent that it wasn't, I was going to ask him about that. So he says,
Right.
I haven't watched all that much of your coverage of the case, but then he goes on to say, but what I have seen has been shockingly dishonest, way, way, way across the line. I don't think that it was. I think of all the coverage out there, I was the least over the line out of everybody talking about it. I got people talking shit about me about not being hard enough on Owens and
Yeah.
Gingras. I've really
Well-
tried to maintain a level of empathy towards that lady because she might be sick, as far as I know.
To me, it just comes across as empty rhetoric, because if you really thought someone said something that was wrong, like what I would do is I would go get a video timestamp and a video link, and I would quote the exact sentence that somebody said that I thought was a lie or just off base or just wrong. And then I would put my evidence about why it was wrong. And that is how I
Yeah.
would litigate it. And nobody is doing that here. It's just sort of rhetoric.
I wouldn't take that. Well, I'll get to that later. But yes, you're right. I wouldn't even go that far. Honestly, I would just litigate the damn thing. I'm a lawyer. What do you want me to do on this? Look, there's ethical rules specifically in every state, and I'm going to recite what they are in Arizona about not doing the kind of things that he's done.
Mm.
And I've just questioned. Well, one of my questions is specifically about that. I'll get to that. So he says he hasn't watched any of my case. He says your affection for one side is so extreme. That's just because of the evidence, honestly. If someone told me you were dating Clayton this whole time, I'd believe it. Which is a weird comment to make, but it was kind of funny, sort of. And weird that he would like take this to like an adolescent, like schoolyard.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to fight? Like, what are we doing?
I can't tell if he's trying to trigger people to get an emotional response, like
Oh, he's trying to
anger,
troll me.
or
He's trying to
if
troll me.
like if he's legitimately trying to put together a stand-up routine for open mic night.
He's not very funny, man.
If he's trying to do that, we can give him some pointers. Dave and I can help him out.
True comedy comes from the heart. You can't force it, sir.
Mhm.
Obviously, Omar's not gay, nor has he ever met Clayton Eckert. But if I were to swing that way, I don't think that Clayton would be my type. No offense. He's a little scary in size-wise. You know what I mean? Like, he's a big dude.
Yeah. I mean, well, he legit, he was on the Seahawks practice squad.
NFL player, man. He's a big human being, man.
Yeah.
But hey, he says that after, and this is like after I try to write him the most courteous, benefit of the doubt, over the top, nice, safe email. He responds like this. Then he says, I'm not a YouTuber, I'm a lawyer, which, by the way, I'm not really a YouTuber. Do you think I do this shit for a living? I'm a lawyer. I run a law firm. I do this as a hobby. Like, I do this when I got time. And honestly, it's helped my mental health in waves. Every time I do a video, I get this platform to speak.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel better, man. It's something
Pretty
that is,
therapeutic. Yeah.
yeah, I make no money out of it. Any money that I make, honestly, probably goes to Dominic and equipment for the show.
Mhm.
And then he's like, more power to your brother. And that's why I'm like, all right, brother. So we're gonna go that route. I'll bring out my Hulk Hogan too. Cue the thumbnail. That was supposed to be of a different Hulk Hogan look, where I just watched the Vince McMahon documentary. There was this show that he's like demonstrating a headlock to this guy, and then he accidentally like put the guy to sleep and choked him out unconscious. And I wanted that to be the thumbnail, but Dominic chose the most gay possible alternate. Which, good for him. Hey, Lauren, what's up?
Sexy.
How's it going?
You're
Speaking
coming
of
off
sexy,
a little dusty.
What's going on here?
what's happening?
There you go.
I
A good
can't
old
really
finger
think-
swipe.
Hold
Digging
on.
the tats, by the way.
Thanks.
No,
No, something's going on with my camera. I don't know.
don't worry about it, man. You just need a Dominic. That's all. You need to get some of that
true.
sweet AdSense money so that you could invest
That's right.
in a producer.
I hope Dominic's like working for $4 an hour.
Oh, Dominic has complained many times about his level of pay, to which I tell him, well, sure, if you make the show better and we make more money, then you will make more money.
Hmm.
That is the standard. Hey, but Dominic's been with me since January, and he's done an incredible job. He's my guy, man. Brad is my side piece, but Dominic is my guy.
Oh,
And
I
so-
think this is better. Hang on.
Oh, you're coming in better now. Anyway, I was I don't know how much of that you saw. So anyway, he wrote me that. My response to him was, all right, well, offer stands, let me know. And then as I was in the midst of my live, basically my verbal invitation to him, follow up to the email, he says, Omar, I talked to Laura. It's a pass. We're going to talk to someone from JFC. I've been texting several of them all day, but we're not talking to you. I don't mean to be a dick, but this is the conversation we should have had 6 months ago. Would have been glad to talk then, as we previously did. I would have been happy to explain our side, as I tried to do. You ignored the opportunity because, well, you can answer for yourself. I can't answer for myself, and it's because he was going to be full of shit. I'm going to go over that initial conversation.
God, Omar, he's tweeting about you now.
Right
Is he
now.
really?
Tweeting about you now, and he has a link to. I guess he blogged about you. Hang on, let's see. Yeah, he emailed or
There's a whole
posted
blog?
he posted your emails with your back and forth with him. I don't know what these are. He says DG response. It's like some email that you sent him, and he's put his responses in red. I don't know what exactly.
They are probably the emails that I'm literally about to go over right now.
Yeah.
I queued them up. I'm going to explain.
He wants to make it seem like you don't want to, like show everything that happened, I think is what going on.
Well, funny he mentioned that. I'm literally in the process of doing it, like right now, before I even knew about that blog post.
Right.
I wasn't even going to touch any of this, by the way. He jumped in my YouTube comments yesterday and was like, do you want to tell him why or should I? I was like, bitch, I read your email on my live. Matter of fact, I'm going to go back 6 months. I'm going to read those emails as well.
Might as well.
It's not anything that I haven't shared before. Matter of fact,
so cute. It's sweet of him. He linked to your stream and everything. Oh
that's nice of him. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm monetized.
Because you called him a scumbag.
Impatient. Like we're literally going over the emails. He's just impatient. We literally put the court filings on the wiki page. Like
I'll tell you what.
He can't wait. He just needs to relax.
Look at these 3 hairs. This has all started since I started reading that guy's filings.
What are you doing?
Are you getting grays?
I got grays.
It's all downhill from here. I don't know what to tell you, Lauren. It happened to me about your age, and now look at me.
It's working for you, dude.
I want to go silver fox. I think it would be good for me. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not liking it, man. I'd rather have my darker hair.
Oh.
By the way, I'm monetizing the shit out of this video because it's gonna piss off Gingras. I mean, I'm not monetizing it. You can't monetize the shit out of anything. It's either it's monetized or it's not.
He's
By
mad
the way,
because you read he's mad because you read the bar complaint. Oh, okay. Well, that was a while ago. First of all, second,
that was a long time ago.
It is that was like an actual complaint. That wasn't. He says 100% false bar complaint, but actually, no, it was a real complaint that was made.
Well,
it was sent to me.
Even if you go before that,
I read his response.
When you first did the first 2 lives, or the first live, or the first 2 lives, and you were reading the emails that you had with all these people, it was very clear to me that even if you invited them on at that point, they wouldn't come on.
Now, the funny thing about being a lawyer is you develop a pretty good bullshit detector. And the alarm bells were firing off when I was reading his responses, which I'm about to go over. By the way, I've been in contact with Gillespie late last night, early this morning. We've been talking about stuff. Hey, Dominic, could you put up a link to his legal fund? In the off chance that he needs legal, look, there's stuff going on. I want to make sure that guy's protected. There is a fund that's been started to help him pay for a legal defense in the off chance that something happens, and maybe even eradicate the OOP that already is due to fraud, maybe deceit, maybe perjury, maybe other things. There's a lot of things at play. I told him that I was working on a legal blueprint on how to eradicate that. And a path going forward. My attention is completely, after today, shifted off of Gingras and Laura Owens. I could give a shit about them. I've given them all the opportunity I can. I could not have been more inviting and courteous in the email that I sent him. I feel like I was even over the top with it. And for him to reject that, he's not serious about wanting to have an honest conversation. Yeah. What he actually wants to do, I suspect, is he's trying to paint this, he's trying to create this fictitious JFC community as the reason why Owens didn't get a fair trial, because even the judge was colored by the commentary from the JFC community. They're not interested in the truth. It's like this rogue organization that is designed with pitchforks and I don't know, fires and all that kind of stuff to take Laura Owens down. And Exhibit A against that, if he considers me a part of that community, and I suspect his definition of that is anybody that opposes his views on the case. My Exhibit A would be the email that I sent to him where I was like, Mary Poppins, hey, come on my show. We'll all be nice. We'll have a beer or a glass of milk. And, nobody will say mean things to you or they'll be kicked out and all the other things that I've said. You read it on your show last night. I read it on mine earlier that morning. So anyway, here's this response. I don't mean to be a dick. This conversation should have happened. You ignored the opportunity because, well, you can answer for yourself. Well, and then my only response to that was fair enough. Good luck. That was all I was going to say. I wasn't even going to respond. But then he jumped in my YouTube comments and was like trying to, I don't know, rattle my cage. And then I was like, oh, okay. So let's go to those initial talks that I had with him. So way back on May 24th, when I knew absolutely nothing about the case, you have to understand how I was viewing this. I didn't believe for a second that Laura Owens was the one that authored this email to me, but it came from her email address. I'm not going to share my screen because I haven't redacted anything. So I'm just going to read it.
Well, it's nice that you give people that respect, even though they're not giving you the same. But okay.
I don't give a shit. He could do whatever he wants. I fear nothing. It's certainly not him. I fear things, just not him. I suspected that this was an email written by her attorney. I didn't know who Gingras was or if she was even represented, but it sounded like it came from an attorney. Said, my name is Laura Owens. I'm reaching out regarding the situation involving Clayton Echard, as I am a woman who has the paternity case against him. I saw your interaction with Dave Neal on Twitter. I wanted to produce some clarity as what happened. So excuse me. Hey, if I have this cough, I know it's annoying. I'm trying my best to hit the mute every time I have to do it. My fisherman cough drops haven't come in yet, Pam. Maybe we'll get here this afternoon. So for the last 9 months, Neal has been obsessively fixated on my personal life, creating a relentless smear campaign against me between his daily YouTube videos, twice daily podcasts, daily Patreon live streams. He has produced hundreds, if not thousands, of hours of content about me. His behavior has crossed well into harassment, and it's been flagged by the LA District Attorney as odd and vexing, which that's not really a thing. The DA's not going to officially flag anything as odd and vexing. So I was already suspicious of this email. And then she says, she or he, I don't know who wrote this, but it's under Laura Owens' email. Neal's followers have become disturbingly cult-like, echoing his every word and action. He's now encouraging them to mass email media outlets, including yours, with a narrative filled with distortions about my life. I'm reaching out to set the record straight. There's harassment claims. Neal's email falsehood claims I have filed a lawsuit for harassment against him, which didn't she? And then wasn't it dismissed?
Well, she dropped it.
Yeah, she dropped it.
So she filed it and then dismissed it.
Yeah.
So that was a lie. In reality, I've only sought an injunction against harassment due to his relentless invasive behavior, which is kind of the same thing. Not really, but sort of. The narrative suggests I've made identical allegations against 3 men. Turns out that that's true. The allegation seems to be with slight variations here and there, but on its merits, major bullet point for major bullet point, identical in the cases of Maricini and Gillespie. Is it Gillespie or Gillespie? Gillespie. And Clayton Echard. That trio stands unified because the allegations were nearly identical. And then she gives an explanation, except for Clayton, all my relationships involve mutual acknowledgement of sexual intercourse. And I even dated 2 of these men for over 2 years and for a year. And the pregnancies, initially, Clayton acknowledged our intercourse, which was not consensual. She's accusing him of SA right here. And the resulting pregnancy, however, after I went public with the pregnancy details, he changed his story, claiming only oral sex occurred to discredit me. I didn't even know anything about the tightness emails, which is like exhibit A as to why she's full of shit. Why does he have to discover how tight you are if you all had intercourse?
I don't remember him changing his story.
I don't either.
The physical actions. I think, in his mind, he probably went back and forth being confused about, could somebody be pregnant?
My thought was that maybe he was high and just doesn't remember it. Maybe, or even if he wasn't, maybe he's just questioning himself, am I just not remembering it correctly? Well, what actually happened? That happens sometimes when people make these false allegations. Is it possible that I'm just not remembering it? I think he might have had a moment like that. Possible.
I don't know. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, and edibles don't make you lose your memory.
I
No,
agree.
just your mind. I don't know if you guys have ever, of course you haven't seen me when I've had an edible because I've never done that in front of you. But
I'm not going to say
smoking and
that.
edibles are
I'm not. I'm
different
not
ball
saying
games.
that's 100%. Like maybe everything's an S curve, but everybody I've talked to is like, you really don't lose your memory when you take edibles.
I
Look, I take
forget what I'm
edibles.
saying every 3 seconds.
The worst thing that happens to me is I lose track of time. That's it.
Oh my god, that's terrible. I hate
Stare at
that.
the wall.
This one time I made a bowl of mac and cheese when I was like, I had taken some gummies or something, and I was staring at the microwave for what somehow felt like forever and not very long at all at the same time. So I was like, wait, what?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I hate that feeling like you're just sitting on the couch. Like I ordered a pizza, it's like, I don't want to answer the door. It's safe here on the couch. I'm sitting right here. Hey, Cat Lady Ballerina, thank you so much for the 5. Says, go to the closest drugstore and get Delsum. That doesn't do shit for me. Delsum, it doesn't work. I could drink the whole bottle. It does nothing. It does nothing. I swear to God, I have this annoying, stupid dry cough every time around this time of year. I can't do anything about it. I'm counting on the fisherman cough drops. But before I get too sidetracked, anyway, I got this email from Owen. So she is writing all of this stuff.
Mhm.
She gives me a link to a pregnancy test. There was from a Dropbox folder. Is this even still up? It was basically a deposition of Eckert acknowledging that there was a pregnancy test or something like that.
I mean, sure.
An abortion request. Clayton expresses his desire for me to have an abortion, which contradicts his later claims that we never had intercourse. And then she told me not to share anything about the deposition, so I kept quiet about it. But I watched the deposition.
Oh my gosh, that's a false dichotomy. You don't have to have intercourse to get pregnant. She said, literally in her deposition, she gave him oral sex and then he finished in her mouth, and she went into the bathroom and swallowed it later. You could go do.
What?
You could go
What do
do
you
the.
mean?
It's like warm milk or something. Like, that's nasty.
I mean, who knows? Later might be 30 seconds later or 10 seconds later. I don't know. But, you could go to the bathroom and do the turkey baster maneuver and then be pregnant. You could have sex with some other human and then be pregnant. So it's a false dichotomy to claim that if he thought for a moment that you might actually be pregnant, that means he had intercourse with you. There are other options.
And there was the whole thing about the pregnancy test where he witnessed for himself, and that's a false. That is a positive test, and so I assume he had all of these questions. Like, how in the hell, was it the turkey baster? Was it some? So it doesn't bother me that he had questions about it.
Mm-hmm. That's how things work. As you go through a process and uncover new evidence or learn.
So this is what immediately let me know it was probably Gingras who wrote this. Additionally, I noticed you posted my photo on your community page on YouTube, which I do not appreciate because the photo was copyrighted by the photographer. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Who are you talking to right now? You mean the one that I found on Google? Like that's literally like out there for everybody to see and use? I do not. It was the one of her where she's in like the red sweater sitting on a desk or something.
Tried to copyright me and Tug and Dave for.
Yeah.
The red sweater.
She says, I also don't have a Wikipedia page. The Justice for Clayton created a wiki, which is the definition of targeted harassment and bullying. And no, it isn't. The information you posted is extremely inaccurate and misleading. You were welcome to search my name on the rule. Okay, so whatever. Attorney, this is what she says. So this is what set me off. My attorney, David Gingras, specializes in internet law and defamation. He is actively preparing to initiate legal actions against Dave Neal and any collaborators spreading these harmful narratives, which is why I said from the very beginning, this is like a low-level shakedown. They're trying to like scare me to not talking about this case. Well, guess what I'm about to do? I'm going to get knee deep into this shit, man. I'm going to talk about all of it. I'm going to go through all of the evidence and see where it lands. Then she says, we're committed to defending my rights. You know what that means? That's like a cease and desist letter, or the precursor to a cease and desist letter, which is don't say mean things about me, about this case. And then she says, I appreciate your consideration and time. She gave me her phone number. She says the whole thing's been incredibly overwhelming and traumatic. I might have bought that narrative, but for the last 2 paragraphs. And then this is my response to her. Look, Laura, I just want you to know, I don't know anything about these cases. And in the event I do cover it, my promise to you is that I will be completely objective. I have no interest in spreading lies or distorting truth. I'm very sensitive to what you're going through, as I have represented dozens of women in your position, which is 100% true. I'm certain that you would not accept the invitation as you're currently in litigation and currently going through it, but would you be open to possibly coming on the show, address some of these things you talked about and tell your side of the story. I offered this back on May 21st for her to come and do exactly what Gingras said he wanted to do from the beginning, which he claimed, look, we could have done this 6 months ago. I was like, bitch, I offered you the invitation 6 months ago.
There it is.
But
did you get a response from that invitation?
For this initial one? Yeah. So this is what she says. Omar, thanks for getting back to me so quickly. I really appreciate your response. And it's what I would expect from a reputable attorney like yourself, which is, again, that's not Laura. That's 100% Gingras writing this. At this point, I'm not interested in doing any interviews that might further fan the flames of distortion by the Justice for Clayton cults. They seem determined to twist any fact I presented in a fiction, which is extremely frustrating and upsetting. So right off the bat, I'm like, okay, these guys are not really serious. But I still gave them the benefit of the doubt. I was like, all right. So then I wrote her some questions. Hey, Laura, I have some questions in light of the order that came out today. I forgot which order it was. I just asked her, there are links out there floating around purporting to be timelines of events dating back to 2014. You mentioned the Justice for Clay movement. How much of what is contained in the following links bullshit? So I sent her like 10 other questions. Well, 5 other questions. Among them was I reviewed the orders from Maricopa County that were released yesterday morning. In one of the orders, it was revealed that you changed both your name and the name of the facility where you had your sonogram during pregnancy, which the order referred to as alleged. I understand that you claimed the sonogram took place at Planned Parenthood in Mission Viejo, not at Southwest Medical Imaging. The latter was added to the record to prevent the respondent from contacting the medical professionals who allegedly performed the sonogram and harassing them. There was a protective order issued, supposedly based on the strength of the sonogram, although you argue that it could have been also supported by threatening text messages, which should have been sufficient to obtain the order. Neither facility has any record of you specifically scheduling an ultrasound appointment, and both deny having provided services to you on July 7th, 2023. I am aware that you arranged for the sonogram anonymously, but may I ask why? Do you possess any evidence that contradicts the statements of the facilities claiming they never conducted an ultrasound for you? Is it okay to speak on the phone this afternoon? That was what I said. That was on May 23rd. And again, I had no knowledge of anything. It's like I'm just trying to get the facts, right?
Oh, we were so young and naive back then.
I know. Approximately, when would that have been? About an hour later. Not even an hour later. I sent that at 11:53. At 12:27 the same day, I get an email from David Gingras. Omar, hey. He said it just like that. Hey, I'm the attorney for Laura Owens in the paternity case versus Clayton Eckert. Laura forwarded your message below and asked me to speak with you, as I may be in a better position to answer some technical questions. I'm around right now. If you're interested in talking, just call my cell. He gives me his number. Otherwise, I'm happy to answer questions via email. And so I said, hey, David, I won't be able to talk until about 6. So I'm sending these questions to you in case you wanted to respond through that email. You can call me. And you know what? I will share this portion. No, I can't. It's not redacted. I'm sending these questions to you in case you wanted to respond through email. You can call me on my personal cell anytime after 6. These are the questions. I sent Laura 1 through 5, and I've added a few more. Doing a podcast tomorrow morning on this, and I'm ultimately just looking for the truth. Same question. I sent her my questions, and then I added, has it ever been established the specific date that she miscarried? Is the alleged Fiverr ultrasound the only ultrasound in existence purporting to be of an actual pregnancy? Is there a reason why Laura did not file a DV claim against Clayton, given that she claimed she was SA'd leading to the pregnancy? Did Laura fabricate an HCG test claiming to be at 102,000 HCG level? And then there's a protective order issued supposedly based on the strength of the sonogram, although you argue that it could have also been supported by threatening text message. Oh, that's the same thing I already read. Anyway, so I sent him that. Thanks for getting back to me on my responses. I probably can't talk after 6, but I'd be happy to talk tomorrow. Get back to you ASAP. And then he goes through these responses. I think I can share these with you.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is what he initially sent me. And this is what when he said that he wanted to do this 6 months ago.
Oh, we can't see it right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let me. I wasn't sharing it because of redaction.
I thought you
reasons,
already had.
But I'm going to share this portion of it. So here it is.
I was about to say he just posted it online anyways, so you might as well.
All right. So he says, following up on yesterday's email and your questions, well, I'm happy to answer these best I can. So anyway, question 1. This is about the Wikipedia Justice for Clay thing. He says, I don't follow any of that crap on Reddit. I just don't have the time. If you want to ask about something specific, I'm happy to ask Laura for her response. And I'm like, okay, I asked a pretty simple question. Just, is anything doctored or not? Is any of it fake?
Yeah. I mean, you link to the Padlet and the Reddit subreddit. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I did. And then he just gives me a non-answer. You gave testimony on November 2nd.
I mean, it's reasonable if he hasn't looked at those links, but he's just kind of rude.
It's not, well, I just didn't buy that he didn't look at the link. There's no effing way that he didn't look at the links. He's an internet defamation lawyer.
Especially when
according
Laura's
to him.
sending him stuff all the time. You know she's like in his inbox all the time. Look at this! Look at this!
Yeah, and I started to suspect, okay, there's no freaking way he doesn't know about this. He's been on the case since March.
Yeah, no way.
And this has been like going back and forth, and they've shared these things already in court hearings. So there's no way he doesn't know about that. And if he doesn't, then malpractice once again. Oh shit,
Yeah.
what'd I do?
I mean, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, and maybe maybe he didn't go to these links. He's just rude about it. I think,
yeah,
buddy, like dial the rudeness down.
He's just really condescending and douchebaggery, if that's
How
a
else
word.
are you supposed to respond when presented with a valid question?
It's just when he's backed into a quarter and it's something that he's going to have to talk about that's negative to his case. He claims that he just, I don't know about anything. Oh, shucks. What could I say? To question number 2, you gave testimony on November 2nd that you had taken a pregnancy test in front of Clayton. Forgive my lack of knowledge. Is Clayton still contesting the validity of the pregnancy? Yes, Clayton is 100% contesting the validity of the pregnancy, despite Laura having taken more than a half dozen tests, all positive, including tests
peeing on stuff. God.
at an urgent care facility, a test that included a blood draw, nearly impossible to fake, and a test that Laura took directly in front of Clayton while he was watching. Clayton dismisses all this evidence, I guess, just because he thinks Laura faked everything.
He doesn't dismiss that you can get a positive HCG test. He argues that a positive HCG test is merely an indicator of pregnancy, not clinical proof of pregnancy. That's all.
And that was what was argued at trial.
I hate this conflation between HCG testing and clinical pregnancy determination. They are not the same thing.
What frustrates me about it is not even that difficult to understand. Okay, a singular HCG test. Maybe you need a series of HCG tests.
Maybe
that's
not on
what the
same
experts
day,
said.
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right. Spaced out. I mean, you get a positive HCG, go to the hospital to confirm.
I feel like she's just going through 6 of them in like an hour and being like, look, series.
What your OBGYN will do is then have you have ultrasounds and fetal heartbeat monitoring and other tests besides HCG or blood HCG.
Yeah.
And we don't have evidence of any of that.
So question number 3, in the judge's recital of the fact she had mentioned you feared Clayton would harass the employees of the facility where you obtained your ultrasound, what were you afraid he was going to do? Had he harassed any of the medical facilities attending to you in the past? DG answers, this involves the order of protection stuff that happened before I was involved. I don't have any knowledge of this. Again, bullshit. Because Laura Owens says, Clayton had sent harassing text messages to me and had threatened to get in contact with Michael Maricini, my abusive ex. See attached police report. That was the response. Which is like already a contradiction. Your client I don't know, man. It was just this unwillingness to be forthcoming that just let me know that I'm not going to get anywhere with this guy. So what are we doing? And now, in the midst of trying to,
if you had a client who was in a family court case and there was a prior, order of protection hearing with a different judge,
I'd have the transcripts and know everything about it.
Would you review that case? You would
100%. Okay. I would order the transcripts. I assume I'd already have a copy of all the exhibits that were exchanged in that hearing. And I'd have full knowledge of what was argued, what was said, what was presented, because you have to. Because you can't go into a trial not knowing about that. Okay. Because what if your client gets impeached on something? You need to know how you have to have knowledge of all that to properly prepare your client who's going to be on the stand and facing a cross-examination in the off chance she might be impeached based on inconsistent statements she says on the stand and stuff that she said back at that hearing. You have to. That's first year law school stuff. So, where was that? Okay, so the restraining order against Maricini was granted in 2018 by way of stipulation I viewed the docket through Trellis, which is disconcerting as I would assume that would be confidential, but it isn't. So I'm assuming this means that the allegations were not litigated originally. I know that the restraining order was renewed in 2020 for 5 years after a hearing. What did he do to warrant the renewal? Could you shed some light on that? And then his response was, the complete Maricini DV file is available here. It didn't really shed light on anything. It was just Laura Owens' accounts of stuff. She's talking about stuff in 2018, where she may or may not have seen him at certain places next to her home or the gym that she works out at or whatever. Question 5. So I reviewed the orders from Maricopa County that were released yesterday morning. In one of the orders, it was revealed that you changed both your name and the name of the facility. That was the fake sonogram stuff. And then his response to all of that was, Laura has admitted changing the facility name on the Planned Parenthood sonogram. I'm not sure what else you're asking about. And what I was asking about was what I had said. Basically, the latter was added to the record to prevent the respondent from contacting the medical. That might be fair because the original question was like 3 paragraphs long. And I think it got cut off when I was copy and pasting.
Yeah.
I can't get mad at him for that response. But what I was trying to say was there was a protective order issued, supposedly on strength of sonogram, although you argue could have been supported by a threatening text message. Neither facility has any record of you scheduling an ultrasound. I was getting to those questions, whatever you need to get to him.
I mean, the problem is there's nothing more you can do over email here because they did the HIPAA releases at the February hearing.
Yeah.
So if there was a legitimate provider supplied ultrasound, it would have been sent to Greg Woodnick before June 10th. And that never happened. So that, the lack of evidence to me is telling evidence.
So just keep in mind that this is the stage where I literally know nothing, right? So I'm just still getting evidence. But has it ever been established the specific date that she miscarried? And then he says, this is addressed in our expert disclosure. The bottom line is that because of the way Laura's pregnancy ended, it's not possible to determine an exact date. I realize that most lay people think that the miscarriage means the baby dies and then is expelled from the mom in a bloody mess. That is one way pregnancies can end, but it's not the only way. Prior to consulting with our expert,
so
go ahead.
When he says it's not the only way, so what he does here with his expert disclosure and all of his talk about this is he speculates. He says there's all these ways this thing could have played out.
Right.
The problem is he says, here's a way this could have happened. He does not provide any medical expert, like an OBGYN or a third party. There's no care. There's no series of ultrasounds that proves it happens the way it could have happened.
The only way to deal with that question from an attorney's perspective is you have to get an expert say that, well, she was pregnant by other evidence than what he's already provided. And we know about the miscarriage because she was treated for a miscarriage, or she went to a facility to the miscarriage, or she was diagnosed with the miscarriage. It can't be, possibly it could be a miscarriage, which is what his expert basically said. Which is, it could possibly be that, or could possibly have not been a miscarriage. Yeah. The other experts said that, no, you can't diagnose a pregnancy with a singular HCG test.
So he likes to craft these speculative sentences and then present them as if they're very compelling for his argument. But it's
they were not.
Evidence.
Yeah. They were non-answers. And I have the same problem. And so he goes on to educate me about what a miscarriage is. Prior to consulting with their expert, I had no idea it was impossible. It's not uncommon for a woman to get pregnant. The fetus grows for a while and then dies, but rather than being expelled in the mom's body, tissue remains inside. Okay, thank you for that.
This was when he was really hot on the whole absorbing twins theory.
Right.
Which to me, to prove it, you would need a series of ultrasounds that show somebody being pregnant, so show some absorbing occurring or whatever, and then show that you're not pregnant anymore. You would need a timeline of evidence, which we do not have. We only have a hypothesis.
Yeah. And I agree. Next question was about the fiber ultrasound. Is this on my screen? Could you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay. I asked him about the fiber ultrasound. Is something fake? Is the Fiverr ultrasound the only ultrasound in existence purporting to be of the actual pregnancy? His response was, I had no idea what the Fiverr ultrasound was. People kept on saying, oh, there's a fake Fiverr ultrasound with the Fiverr logo.
Well,
I couldn't find it.
yeah.
I couldn't see it.
Well,
hey.
unfortunately, that was part of the Greg Gillespie case, not the Clayton
Oh,
Decker
okay.
case.
Well, he says that I think Laura will say the Fiverr ultrasound is something fake that a third party created and then try to blame on her. I've never actually seen this. Again, he says he's never seen it. Come on, man.
At least
There's no
more
effing
people
way.
have tagged you in this per day. I'm pretty sure you've seen it, dude.
I mean, the funny part is when, she gives somebody a piece of evidence and then we determine it's fake or it's stolen, then she's like, well, somebody hacked it. Like the hackers are up to something new.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's
I don't
conspiring
give
against her.
Facebook permission to put this ultrasound on my Facebook wall. Take that, Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, saying like this is today's gaslighting lesson or whatever on Twitter, and then we're reading this and seeing like professional gaslighting right here. So,
But I was just not buying it. It's like, okay, I'm getting non-answers to this, and it's more confusing
well, her response
than
to
what I'm
that
actually
is, like,
reading.
completely ridiculous because she's like, I never claimed to have an ultrasound, but then how did you know you had twins?
Well,
She said the Fiverr ultrasound that Dave Neal has spoken about was something he claims was sent to Greg Gillespie in 2021.
because
Nothing
it
to do.
was.
Yeah.
There
I never
are
had an ultrasound.
voicemails. There are recorded phone calls
Right.
and everything where she talks about this picture.
And she's like, I've never had an ultrasound. I've always maintained that. Okay, ma'am.
Which was
That's
also
not
confusing. It's like, okay, wait a minute. Then how do you...
Inaccurate.
I thought there was ultrasounds with respect to the Eckerd case, and I was just all
There are
confused.
3.
Yeah.
There
She
are
says, I
so
never
There are
have.
3, but it's not this one.
Yeah, she says, I maintain from this moment, he brought it up in our civil case. My pregnancy is personally confirmed to Greg in a call that he demanded after I took a pregnancy test at One Medical, and I'm happy to have them send you the records that specifically state that.
Another positive HCG test, which
Yeah.
is not proof of clinical pregnancy. Oh.
So this is the point where DG actually tries to give like a solid response. Is there a reason why Laura did not file a DV claim against Clayton, given that she claimed she was SA'd leading to the pregnancy? DG's response, totally fair question. I asked her the same thing. Her response was, in effect, that she actually wanted to have sex with him that night, but she only said no because of the timing. They had only known each other for a matter of days. So yes, technically Clayton's conduct fits the technical definition of... No, it doesn't.
I find that curious, given that he is now, at least privately, accusing Clayton of and saying that the county attorney should prosecute Clayton of that to multiple people, because multiple people have sent me that. So he's now saying that again.
Well, let me just make this unequivocal. Anything that comes out of Gingras' mouth or from out of his direction, at all, should just be completely ignored and go to other sources for the truth, because you ain't getting it from this guy.
What? Sorry.
I mean, maybe.
TPHGHM. What is this? Thank you for the 5. Just to piss off Gingras. Yeah, I'm monetizing the shit out of this video. Hey, do we got the link to donate to Gillespie's legal fund?
Yeah, it's been in the comments.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Where did I leave off? Okay, so did Laura fabricate an HCG test claiming to be 102,000? Yes, this was something she did after her identity was leaked to the media and people. Dave Neal started making videos about her. She was panicked, didn't know how to get to the media and bloggers to leave her alone. Oh, shit.
That's
Correct.
crazy.
Yeah. That was the responses that I got way back 6 months ago when I tried to do this the first time as a legitimately objective, not knowing nothing of the case person. And those were the responses that I got. And mind you, at the same time, I'm getting evidence from all sides. And so I'm basically leading where the credible evidence led me. And I think the next day after this email, a 4-hour live stream on the subject. And you see me reacting in real time to some of the more salacious stuff. I didn't even know about the tight email anymore. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So you're going to get an abortion if he dates you, but if not, you're keeping it? What?
Poor
Yeah,
Clayton Etchard. Poor Etchard.
it's very strange. And of
Yeah, I
course,
know,
all of
Etchard.
that. It's very strange.
All right. So that's what I got back when. So when Gingras is talking about he wanted to do this 6 months ago, let's review, in light of those responses, what he read, what his response to me was. Is my screen still up? Ah, shit.
Yes.
God
The offer
damn it.
stands.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
You didn't really show anything private.
Yeah.
Want me to keep it
Well,
up?
No, it's fine. It's up
his
now.
email footer is on his blog.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything
And also, he's
there.
posting his phone number all over Twitter, so it's like not
That's
that big. Of a deal.
true.
But one of his reasons why he declined the invitation was, look, this is the conversation we should have had 6 months ago. Would have been glad to talk then. He specifically declined. I offered him to come on the show. He specifically declined.
Can we see the declination one more time? I know we saw Laura decline it 6 months ago, right?
Well, Laura, to be fair,
so he
I don't
says,
think Gingras specifically declined an invitation to go on the show, but Laura declined.
Mhm.
And I wrote him these questions,
Well,
and these
when
were
he-
his responses.
Hold on. When he was this 6 months ago or no? This was
What I just read,
yeah. This is new. So can we go back to where he was answering your original questions?
yeah, is that up on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to unshare the screen because I don't have to.
Like, what did he say at the end?
Where's my StreamYard tab? Here it is. Okay, let me unshare my screen real quick, and then I will share it again. Just for the sake of, not doing anything offhand. Okay, so let me get back into this here. Oh, I guess I could have shared it. Doing this again. Present. Hey, Schnitzel.
Hey.
What you doing? She's supposed to join us for Flat. She's got a hard stop at 3 p.m. her time.
Well, I have an hour from right now.
I got like 10 more minutes stops because I got to work.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to go through this as much as I can. We're taking down the what happened to Schnitzel?
She got lost like I did. I don't know.
Well, let me get this back up. So once again, I've screwed this up.
Oh boy.
All right, here we go. So the end of his responses was well, that was it. It was just an answer to 9.
Okay.
Omar, thanks for going to get you some. Oh no, that was I got to go down further. And yeah, that was it. He just answered, and then that was the end.
So there was
And
no
then I have
follow up to
attachments.
this.
Yeah, there's no follow up to this.
So he didn't ask. He didn't take you up on your offer. He didn't ask to come back on.
No,
There was
nothing
this
like
sort
that.
of thing like, oh, maybe we could have a call, but it didn't line up.
Yeah, what I suspect happened was after I did my live, he's like, okay, well, Omar's out.
Okay.
He's not gonna be our guy. And so
I mean, I'm not seeing anything here that's like you keeping them from talking to you 6 months ago.
no, I was like, hey, here's all my questions. I wrote them down. You could respond in writing. I'm not going to talk to you on the phone. Look, just here, you submit your written responses. And I didn't
That's the
expect
thing,
they would.
though, like with these people or people like
happened?
this. I was saying that's the thing with people like this. No matter how nice you are, no matter how professional you are, they're going to turn it into something it's not meant to be.
Which is pretty much what happened. And so that was what happened with our initial exchange. And his response to that was this, I guess, this platform that I had suggested, where my 9 parameters, everybody will be safe. I'm not going to talk over you. I'm going to try to understand your position. Understand the case has already been litigated, so we already know everything about the case. We're going to get anything new. I'll tell you what my questions were going to be. And it's like, no, you're a dick. We could have done this 6 months ago. You're a YouTuber. I'm a lawyer. It's like, no, bitch. I'm a lawyer and a YouTuber, and you are something. You're something.
Really
anyway.
big pussy. He's a really
Yes.
big pussy.
I'm going to let you all say it, man. You guys say it.
Contrary to popular belief, I actually don't like really huge pussies, so he's not my favorite. Anyways, that's
How would you define a huge? You're going to demonetize my channel.
Did you see my thumbnail last night? That's how I would define it.
Yes, I did. What the Gingras face on Laura's hair, and then your face, and he wants to be you for Halloween.
I would be them for Halloween, but like their weird adult love child.
Are you saying he's not tight enough for you, Lauren? Is that what you're
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, Iron Rabbit wants to just to tick off the Gingras off fun. Love this panel. Iron Rabbit, thank you so much for the 5. And then Pam Chasm with the, how do I get this on the screen? What do I do? God damn it. Hey, Pam, you owe me a lot of taxes, boss. There was something about taxes, and what was the thing about taxes on the Discord this morning? I missed that whole boat.
You got to pay her $2 every time you say the T word.
Pam. Oh, I do?
Yeah.
You're going to have to bill me, Pam. I don't know what to tell
Invoice.
you. So these are going to be my questions. It wasn't going to be anything about the evidence in the case. I'm done arguing about that. You're not going to change my mind on it. My questions were really going to be this. And by the way, bullshit that Laura Owens is going to go on a stream. There's no effing way that's happening. One of my first questions was going to be, you know what? Let me share my screen with you all so we can read along together. I thought this would have been the conversation to have. It was mostly going to be about his handling of the case. So let me I think I got to share a window. This. All right, done. Is it on the screen? Is it big enough? Let me embiggen it a little bit more. All right. So the questions I would have asked. How do I scroll back over there? There we go. So what are you doing parading Laura Owens around on a proposed live stream circuit in the midst of a pending criminal investigation related to the subject matter that you want to talk about? Would have been question number one.
Oh,
because
no.
obviously I can't ask her those things, right? You're going to just shut those questions down. So what would be the point of that? That was going to be question number one. I'll wait. I would get his response, and we'll see where we go.
That's my fundamental problem, because when you talk about a debate, usually a debate has a debate topic. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Are we debating whether or not she was pregnant or not? I was just interested in getting his. I was not debating anybody. You got a side? Let's hear it. But these are my questions. So I don't know what he is planning on coming on any live stream to say, but this is what I was going to ask him about. And he would have had these in advance. And, it would have been a beautiful thing. I say, explain how an attorney in practice for over 20 years felt that claiming the restrained party of a DVRO was in violation of that order by virtue of appearing as a witness while under subpoena where the protected party was present. I've never heard an attorney make that argument ever. Yeah. I even broke down the law. In California law allows for certain exceptions to the restrictions imposed by a DVRO as a restraining order. Specifically, peaceful written contact through a lawyer or process server for service of legal papers related to a court case is permitted, does not violate the order. Additionally, California Family Code 6308 permits parties, support persons, or witnesses to appear remotely at hearings on petitions for DV restraining orders, which can help avoid direct contact. But it's not a violation to honor a subpoena. More specifically, in Arizona, the restrained party of a domestic violence restraining order is not in violation of that order by virtue of appearing as a witness under subpoena where the protected party is present according to Arizona law. Arizona law mandates that a person who is properly served with a subpoena must attend and testify at that date, time, and place specified in the subpoena unless excused by the party or attorney serving the subpoena, which my understanding is he was not excused. A court order or any other provision under the rules.
Can I ask a legal question?
Yes.
What does Rule 26 say about that?
I don't fucking know. What are we talking about?
Going in the ban basement.
Let me answer that for you.
Yeah, please do.
Which Rule 26 are we talking about?
Oh, no.
You know that he's obsessed with Rule 26, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is that one? Yeah. Yeah. What does... I was like, what are we... A federal Rule 26? What?
What?
I'm like going back to my law school days.
Lauren's working on her stand-up routine. It's interesting the Arizona rule is more strongly worded than the California.
Well, California's more laid back, man. And I could tell you in good confidence that their California rules of court allow for testimony and for subpoena witnesses, even in the face of restraining orders. I just had a hearing a couple weeks ago in which a restraining order was a thing. And the parties were there together on the courtroom. There's bailiffs there. There's cameras. Nothing's going to happen.
They didn't require a Zoom call or anything.
No, it's not required. Matter of fact, you cannot, for the most part, testify via Zoom. For obvious reasons. Number one, it violates the accused right to confront witnesses. That would be one constitutional right. You have no idea if there's anybody there in the room, like giving them like a monitor to read from, like a teleprompt. There's just all kinds of problems with this remote testimony. Generally in trials, like 99.9% of the time, unless it's impossible, you're not testifying via Zoom. in California. It's just not happening. This goes on to say, furthermore, the Arizona Constitution and relevant statutes do not provide a victim with a constitutional right to refuse to obey a court order to appear and testify in a deposition or trial, even if the protected party is present and then there's a case on the matter. Therefore, the restrained party must comply with the subpoena and appear as a witness, as failure to do so could result in a legal consequences such as contempt of court. So not only is it not a violation of the restraining order, but he's breaking the law by not appearing in Arizona.
Right.
And then
And Laura also had the right to, I can't remember what it's called, I'm sure you'll know, to ask the witnesses to not be in the room, and she waived that right.
no, yes, she has the absolute right. If she's really that scared, she could have asked the judge and told the bailiff that, could I just not be in the room? Or could I have like special, accommodations because of this situation? And the judge more than likely would have granted it, even if it was bullshit, just as, all right, we'll get over it then. You want to waive your presence in the courtroom while he's testifying, then fine. Then,
or waive them, Gillespie and Maricini being in the courtroom. She could have requested them to be outside the courtroom.
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, if they were on the witness list, they couldn't have been there anyway. If they were actually going to testify, they can't be there because it might color their testimony. Mm-hmm. Usually the courts will say like, all right, is there any witnesses in the gallery? If so, then fuck off to the next room.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just imagining someone saying it like that.
I mean, I'm paraphrasing, of course. The third question I was going to ask him, well, I wanted him to explain to me his reasoning. Like, come on, you know that this is the law. You've been practicing longer than I. What gives? What were you trying to do? Question 3, given the ethical duties of attorneys, that attorneys have to protect their clients, explain your public approach, sparring with JFC cult members, in quotes, in YouTube and X comments, posting blogs, naming private folks in public legal proceedings in an attempt to generalize an entire community that does not formally exist. Do you believe that you have placed Laura in harm's way? Isn't it true that prior to your involvement with the case, the public appetite for this case was limited to a few Bachelor fans? Isn't it true that you have, through your direct and indirect agitations, exponentially turned more eyes on this case, and by your communications and writing style, set them diametrically opposed to Laura Owens? Perhaps a more measured approach was best. I realize that's a lot of questions in the same paragraph, but the point was, this is a singular subject matter I want to talk about. Those are the finer points I wanted to get to, which is why it's, all lumped together. Here's what Arizona has to say about it. Firstly, an attorney must avoid extrajudicial statements that could materially prejudice an adjudicative proceeding. According to Arizona rules of professional conduct, a lawyer should not make statements that they know or reasonably should know will be disseminated by public communication and will likely interfere with the fairness of a proceeding. Again, that's Arizona rules of professional conduct, the same one, 3.6. This is reinforced by Arizona Civil Rule 83.8, which prohibits extrajudicial statements that could interfere with a fair trial. He argued tangentially in one of his motions that because of the presence of the JFC cult, it colored the opinions of the Judge Mata in this case. And so then the question is, he didn't get a fair trial because of the JFC. Isn't it true that your conduct kind of like created all of that and made it like way worse?
How would the judge know who those people were at trial? No one, to my knowledge, came in and said, hey, we're JFC.
Right. It's a made up thing by him. Yeah. Completely made up. So question 4, your public actions have made you the subject of multiple bar complaints lodged against you. Further, you claim in pleadings that the JFC community has fostered an environment whereby your client has been unequivocally prejudiced. Isn't it true that whatever prejudice exists has been grossly exacerbated through your actions? And then the last was, look, you continue to denigrate the trial, claiming judgment was made in the face of evidence supporting your side. There were 2 experts in the case, and both had equal opportunity to state their expert opinions. According to the judge, she was not impressed by your expert's method of analysis and gave more weight to the other side. You offer no exhibits supporting your client's claims. You merely called an expert and offered his opinions of a singular HCG test, while the other side explained that that wasn't sufficient. You put the judge in a position where, in the absence of a smoking gun, like a valid ultrasound or some other test that was not an HCG test, she had to evaluate the credibility of competing experts, one of which was retired and the other who was actively practicing. Explain your reasoning. What evidence exists that would have led a reasonable judge to rule in your favor? Why wasn't it presented at trial? That would have been question 5, and I suspect that would have taken an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2.
Oh my God.
I mean,
So
well,
even
there
more.
were multiple HCG tests, but instead of I don't know if you meant singular in terms of just the concept.
Yeah, in terms of the concept, I know there was multiple. But there would have had to have been a series of tests over specific dates to verify a pregnancy. And plus, if you go to the hospital, they would have done like what do they call it? Like a pap smear? They just stick a wand right up there. They got a little camera on it.
Well, it's
and
not
they
a pap
confirm.
smear, but
That's
it's called an
a
vaginal
TV.
ultrasound.
Yes, ma'am. I misspoke.
Intravaginal.
What's going on here?
Pap smear.
Who's doing
It
what
is
with the
not a-
camera? What's
Well, they
that?
put your legs in the thing, and then they probe you and stuff.
Is that
and-
what happened at your last OBGYN
We-
appointment?
Yes, it did.
We are not letting Omar near any of the medical equipment. That's rule number 1.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
Anyway,
No, but exactly. In early pregnancy, that's how they detect the fetus, the
Yeah.
heartbeat.
yeah,
They don't do a regular, an outside.
It's
they
with
get it
a-
on camera.
It's called what, a transvaginal ultrasound?
Yeah,
TV.
exactly.
Yeah. Mhm.
So those were my questions. That's what I would have asked him. He didn't want to participate. Now, look, I only did that whole, how do I stop sharing? Okay. So I did that, calling his bluff from the X post. He wants to debate. He wants an open dialogue. He wants a meeting of the minds. He wants 2 competing versions of the story instead of some one-sided thing, and that supposedly people that supported Clayton Eckert are only interested in one side of it. I directly challenged that. I was like, no, come
Yeah.
on in.
Also, I don't get it because everybody I've watched, on YouTube, they're all reading all of the court filings. They're reading all of the online blogs, including his and
Yeah.
Laura's blogs. To me, that's both sides, because if you were a YouTuber and you only made videos about Greg Woodnick's filings and ignored every single thing, I guess you could call that taking a side or presenting only one side. But guess what? You would only make half the YouTube revenue if you did that, maybe
Well,
less.
True. I
So
mean,
no one would do that. If it was really about money, nobody would only pick a side. You have to cover both sides because that's the most content.
I just want to caution people on this, man. Gingras is up to something.
Yeah.
I don't know who he claims from the JFC community he's been texting. I have no idea.
I would really like to tell that person, do not.
My advice to anybody approached by Gingras to do this kind of thing, if it's on his platform, don't go. It's not going to be a fair fight. He's not going to listen to you. He's not there to have a dialogue. He's there to bully you. I offered him about as fair of a platform as he could possibly offer. And we were equal in terms of, I'm lawyer, you're a lawyer. We both
That's why he
understand
doesn't want to
law.
talk with you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he just said, no, you were mean to me 6 months ago. You didn't take me serious then. I read his entire responses. I've gone through that whole exercise. You could see in real time through all the videos I've done on this case. There's a playlist on my channel. In real time, my reactions to some of the evidence as I'm reading it, as I'm learning of it, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
This is
and like you said, you were getting shit from people who, I don't want to say the JFC community because you said it. I mean, it's true. It's not like an official thing, but anyway, from people who have been read through everything and whatnot, and then hoping like, oh my God, please see, please see what we see because we feel we see the truth. Anyway, so but like you're saying, you didn't have any judgments going into it. You were reading it in real time and coming to your own conclusions based on what you saw.
I can tell you that I have been in contact with Gillespie this morning, late last night. He's got an entire legal fund that people are donating to. I encourage everybody, it should be pinned in the comments right now, to go and donate to his cause. Because at this point, I've made my conclusions. And my email to Gingras. Yesterday was my last attempt at civil discourse with that guy. The problem with a guy like Gingras is he's a charlatan. He's a fake. He's a phony. I think that he is a danger to the general public insofar as he might represent you in a case. What he has done with Laura Owens' case, it was bad to begin with, but he is taking it to a whole nother level where she might have her entire life ruined by this guy's actions, by his malpractice, his mishandling of the case, his inability to stay off social media and conduct himself as a professional lawyer. I offered him the most professional platform where, look, I'm not part of anything. I run a law firm. You want to tell your side? I got questions. We could talk like lawyers. But then he was like, well, if you want to debate, or I think in his Twitter is like he wants to debate somebody. He's like, if you want to debate, we could debate. Or if you just want to have like a conceptual conversation about strategy, we could do that too. I did want to talk to him about Laura's autism because that wouldn't have been out of bounds. That's not part of the perjury.
Mm.
I was going to ask him about all those things, and he just turned it down in like the most douchebaggerish way possible. And then he came at me in the YouTube comments because I was going to leave it alone. My literal response to him was when he said no, say, all right, fair enough. Good luck. That was all I said. And then he's like, do you want to tell him why I don't want to come on, or should I? It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously now I'm going to have to just do my thing. And hence I'm here this morning sharing the entirety of the story, but also to caution everybody that, look, I don't believe in the existence of a JFC community or not, because I believe that the broad definition of that, according to Gingras, would be anybody that disagrees with him. And I don't know of anybody I've ever spoken with. Literally, I don't know of anybody that agrees with his positions in this case.
Mm-mm.
So we're all the JFC community, I guess.
I mean,
what are you going to do with that?
Even if you use a very colloquial, loose definition, like, you can say, oh, a subreddit is a community, or a Discord is a community,
Yeah.
or, a group or people on Twitter are a community or something. But those are all different in any case. There's no one, like, there's nothing,
Exactly.
all of these places are doing their own thing, and all those places are full of people that are individuals. And some of those people may not even like each other, like, it's not a thing.
I can't stand anyone here. So
Exactly. Laura and
I hate
just
you all.
hate each other. I mean,
you're a bunch of words I can't say on Omar's stream.
Look, man, I just want to say this. If Gingras is not willing to come on, he doesn't have to come on my show, but who else is he going to talk to? If not me, what, Megan Fox? He's not talking to Megan Fox. Megan Fox will destroy that guy.
No,
I guarantee you she would be a lot meaner than I would have been.
Yeah.
She texted me as much.
Either A, faceless, or B, somebody who's going to get on there and be emotional and call them a bunch of and then, that's why they probably, gave permission to talk to me. So
it could have been a plant.
Everybody look bad.
Exactly. How do we know that? Well, I'm not saying any of us, but how do we know that there isn't someone who is a plant who he's been working with for months?
Could have been.
Who knows? And then would say
know.
that person's the rep. You just don't know.
I mean, I think that the person to debate would have been like either Dave Neal, Megan Fox, myself.
Yes.
Who's the other big ones that have been on this case
Tug.
that have like
Even Tug.
Tug would be a good one. Legal Vices would have been a good one. MG Law. Talk to them. Just talk to somebody that's on equal footing that knows the facts of the case and that could make the legal arguments. But preferably a lawyer, because otherwise, what, you're just trying to bully somebody into believing your side, and that's bullshit. I don't take kindly to bullies, and so to that regard, the door is closed forever on Gingras, and good luck with his appeal. And good luck with his bar complaints. Hopefully he doesn't get disbarred. But I really think, I say this in all sincerity. I think that he's dangerous to the general public. I don't know what his deal is with Laura Owens. I don't know what they've hired him to do. I don't know what they're trying to do. Are they trying to like stir up a dissension to try to gain public favor with the DA's office because of the criminal investigation? It's not going to help their appeal. I don't understand that angle of it. So what are we really trying to do? If it's not any of those things, it's not a legitimate legal purpose, and really it's just to feed his ego, or I don't know, maybe he's in love with Laura Owens. What about that? What about like the only reason why?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I just don't.
Oh, well, I've heard.
We can speculate all day about what they would do in a live stream, or
it's
why
pointless.
he's doing what he's doing. I don't know. I'm interested in, evidence and the facts of the case. I don't know. So I don't know
Right.
what he can add.
And I feel like all the evidence and facts are out there. There's nothing more to add. There's literally not. They testified as much in trial. So that's why my questions would not have been geared towards the evidence. The evidence is already out there.
Yeah. The questions are not about the evidence. The questions are about the lack of evidence.
Lack of evidence and his handling of the case. Why is he doing why are you the way that you are? You know, what are we doing with this?
Yeah. Why are you being a lawyer and a PR firm at the same time? Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, his writing style. I mean, his writing style, honestly, his response to me was as if an 8th grader wrote it.
Mm.
It was like this adolescent, vitriolic, amateurish response.
Yeah.
And so look, I can't do any better than what I've done. If he's mad at me for being mean to him in the past and making mean videos about criticizing his legal strategies, I can't help him there because I call it like I see it.
And
don't
he's
know if I
talking
would-
about someone else here not having thick skin. I
Yeah.
think he needs to take a look in the mirror.
Yeah.
He's got
Guys
the
are all
thinnest
supposed to
skin
have
of it
thick
all.
skin. I don't know if I'd go as far as 8th grade. I mean, he didn't say he banged your mom after winning a COD match. So,
So maybe like
I don't
6th
know.
grade.
How about junior college? How about that?
Yeah.
But people are still saying bang your mom in junior college too. So
Oh,
I mean, I
boy.
still say stuff like that now. So
she says stuff about my dad.
Yeah.
My dad's sending dick pics and all. And I had to tell my dad to back off.
I don't
Like
remember,
Jesus.
I don't remember that happening. But
Well,
that's
you
not
shared it
saying
with
didn't
me.
happen.
Look, man, to the extent that he's coming after Lauren, why is he going after Lauren? Like, what did Lauren do?
Because
Like
his
a-
client asked him to. Because
Oh.
I keep using the
Yeah.
picture of her in the red sweater and calling her names she doesn't like. And
But of
also, I
all
don't
the
think she has
people-
autism, and I think she's a liar.
It's
So
they tend to go after, I think, the smaller content creators. If you take a look at who's been targeted
Yeah.
in the past, that they think they can bully or they can scare.
yeah, how's that
Um,
working out, David?
Right.
Fuck.
So
I mean, he did go
Also-
after Dave Neal, like with
I would almost
No.
say the flip side. Like Lauren has the earliest and the most comprehensive coverage of these new autism claims from these blogs.
Oh yeah, she's really mad
Yeah.
about me saying that she doesn't have autism. That's
So-
what she made that very clear in her copyright complaint, where she talked a lot about her medical conditions.
And a lot of other people are covering different stories, what the Hales or whatever it is, or
Yeah,
rug in-
we've moved-
rug in the
generally
backyard or
moved on.
whatever. But
and so I'll tell you what, man. I'm the kind of attorney. I'm super laid back, man. If you're chill with me, I will be chill with you. If you're respectful to me, I will be more than respectful to you. But when you're doing the kind of stuff that Gingras is doing, the door is shut forever. There's going to be no more attempts. I will not engage with him any further. I'm done listening to his side. I gave him a chance. He didn't want to take me up on it. So he could have whatever reasons he want. I have in 4K examined all of his prior responses. If he thinks I'm hiding anything, I did the same thing yesterday, and I even went further than that today. So it's all out there. I have nothing to hide. I got a lot of questions about that guy, about his sanity, about his ability to practice law, about his writing style. Look, I'm not gonna like take personal shots at the guy, but the door's shut. I'm just gonna, as a general warning to everybody out there that he might be in contact with, do not go on his show. It's not going to be what you think it's going to be.
No, it's a setup in some way, shape, or form to like make everybody else look bad, basically.
Yeah, just watch and wait.
Yeah.
Just watch and wait, and the people that need to do things will do things.
I'll say what I said to Dave in one of the comments this morning when he was saying like, he could have him on the show and give the proceeds to, and I think he was joking, but to like Planned Parenthood or something, one of Laura's favorite charities. And I was just like, no, I think I would rather, and I'm sure I've used this before, but throw myself off of a moving escalator and then have it drag my body back up to the top just so I can use the rest of my life to throw myself off again, than have that man on my stream.
That's extreme. Yeah. I was willing to go. Look, I knew the dangers. I also wasn't afraid of it. It's like, okay, you're not going to shake me down, buddy. It's like, so look, you're not going to, I wasn't going to let him deflect, like in real time, just to have him there and just not give him that opportunity to just give me bullshit answers. I just wanted to get to the bottom of it. So look, I've tried twice now. There will not be a third. So that's it. That's it for Gingras. Beware of him. Well, just be careful. If he's in contact with you, if he's talking to you, do not.
He has an agenda.
Watch
Yes.
and wait.
He certainly has an agenda. I suspect it's because he's trying to curry up this idea that JFC cult is a thing. Exhibit A would be my email to him from yesterday, and how it is, whatever he thinks it is not that, because he had this opportunity. And look, there's plenty of content out there. So that's it, man. That is it for the Gingras train. I'm done with him. I'm finished with him. I gave him a chance. He didn't want the smoke. He's scared. He's a coward. He didn't want to come on. I gave him the platform he specifically requested. He didn't want it. He wants somebody that he can control, somebody that he thinks he's smarter than, somebody that he could legally to death, somebody that he could bully. Certainly wasn't going to be any of the major players that have been covering this case. So that's that. What about Bruce? How come it's not come after Bruce?
Hey,
What
we
did
still
I
got
do?
time for that. Come
I
on.
didn't do anything.
Not yet.
I'm just saying.
Actually, I just yesterday I made a 90-minute video on my channel going through his tweets and
Oh, I got to check that out, man.
reacting to them Mary Lincoln style. So
Oh no.
in conclusion, I think Mary Lincoln's is more entertaining than going through David Gingras's tweets. Sorry, buddy, you got to step it up.
It's sad that he blocked her.
Mary's more entertaining, I think.
I don't know who Mary Lincoln's is.
Some old lady. She's funny.
All right. Hey, look, folks, we're gonna do Family Law After Dark. I don't know if you can see, you got to work on Lauren. Bruce, are you in?
What's going on? I'm retired, so I can do whatever we want.
We are doing Flad. We may have
Let's do
like
it.
15 minutes with the schnitzel. We're gonna do a follow
I
up
got
on my
about
last one.
37 minutes.
We'll see how it goes.
And we should get the ninja's opinion
All
on
right,
that.
I'm
Is
gonna
it
get going.
time?
I'm
Hold
gonna
on.
get-
Can you hear this?
I'm gonna get to the juicy stuff.
Here we go.
I'll see you guys later.
I can hear
Okay,
you.
bye.
Hey,
Have to
Lauren, thanks
go-
for coming. Oh, we got to get Bruce in here too. I'll send him a link.
I have to go
Hopefully-
behind this
Brad.
chair. And
I meant
my
Brad.
other desk.
All right, folks. I love you guys all. Oh, and thanks,
Bye.
Robin Richardson, for the $5 for the Piss Off Jingers Fund. Thanks for that, Lauren. All right, man.
Oh,
Give us
great.
5, and then we'll do Family Law After Dark. We'll get it set up, and we're gonna lead off with what we left off with on the last one when I was really lubricated. Let's do that. All right, folks. I love you, man. Hey, Schnitzel, do you got a link for Flad?
I do not.
Um,
Oh wait. Oh, maybe he's.
well, if not, we'll get it to you right now. Bruce, you got one? It should be the same one as last time.
Oh, then I have it.
Okay, cool. I'll see you guys in there. Give us about 5 and we'll get this show on the road.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right.